Ganpati Pappa Moria. So today let us see how we can draw and paint Lord Ganesh. Let's begin. So initially when we start the sketch, we have to just mark the center, and we have keeping our book vertical. You can even use the watercolor papers in case you have them. Now starting from the U shape of the face, the next just close the U shape and just draw two curves for the ears. Next, the kirita or the mukut, following with the curves, some wavy lines for the ears. If you find this video a little fast, please do pause it and draw along with me. Next, some curves for the ears and then closing the ears. Drawing the trunk from the left side, it is almost like an S shaped line. Now if you notice that the trunk, the initial at the beginning near the U shape, it's a bit fat, and at the bottom it's a bit thinner. The tusk, one broken and one fully sharp. And before you draw the eyes, I would recommend to draw the curve first and then mark the center line, and then just two angular curves on both the sides. Don't directly draw the eyeball. So this is the starting. Next, we are simply going to draw a W shape curve for the chest and an oval for the body, the stomach. Big stomach. Next comes the shoulder, which is going to be angular on both the sides. After drawing that, just an oval for the bowl. Next, the hands holding the laddus, closing the other side with the shoulder. Now when you are drawing this palm initially, you can start with the almond shape or the oval shape for the palm. Folded fingers, a few fingers like this. Next, the legs, just two curves from the left side and right side, not to make it too complicated. And at the middle, you can just draw some folds of the clothes, adding a lotus on the palm here. Next, the chain, and the snake. Next, let me just draw the double line for the eyes, and at the center just draw a half circle, the semicircle for the eyeball, and then close it at the bottom with a curve. Make sure both left side and right side is symmetric, the eyeballs as well as the eyes, the eyebrows too. Next, adding the tilak and the hair. You can change these patterns as well. You can make it look more fancy. Here are my students' works. Very beautiful. Good try. Next, before we start the painting, I'm gonna erase and make it light. So I'll be using watercolor paints here. You can even use posters or acrylics. Now initially, I'm gonna make the complete page wet. So I cleaned that first, I removed the dust, and I took chrome yellow. So in case you don't have the chrome yellow, you can even use the lemon yellow or the light yellow, but not the yellow ochre, because we want this initial step to be very light. Next, little by little, before it dries, you have to take a darker paint, a little more paint of the same color, and for every outline you are going to add them, and you're not gonna spread them. You're gonna just leave it. Since the paper is wet, it is going to automatically spread. If you're using the watercolor papers, it is very easy when you use these watercolor papers, because they withstand this water. So initially, little by little, I've started increasing the darkness, whereas I've started adding orange for the yellow, and once again giving an outline like this. I'm using a round brush here. Next, after the orange, I'm gonna take some brown. What happens is, since this is watercolor, the layer by layer I'm gonna make it dark, and it turns to be very light when it dries. That's why we're adding layer by layer and making it dark. As you can see, it has already turned light, but it has that nice, effect, the layering effect. Next, I'm taking some dark brown now, and for the areas which are meant to be very dark here, for example, the stomach, under the stomach portion, and the chest and the background, I'm gonna add this dark brown. Not gonna use a very small brush, I'm gonna use just this pointy round brush here. Don't use a too small brush. Now since that background is still wet, it is spreading and blending with the previous color, which is very important. If you find this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and hitting a like button and sharing with your friends as well. Next, I'm gonna take a lot of brown, a lot of red. I'm gonna mix these colors and completely paint the background dark. So here, as you can see, I've taken a lot of red, brown, and mixed it, both light brown as well as the red here, but still it seems to be very light. So what I will do is, I will mix more of the dark brown next and add one more layer. After that, if it's still not sufficient, I'll mix a little bit of black to it, because I want the Ganesh to look a bit glowing when compared to the background. So I want the background to be very extremely dark here. Now here, this is the dark brown. As you can see, when this dark brown is added, both the contrast, if you see the yellow shade, looks very elegant here, very beautiful when this dark brown is being added. Beautiful, isn't it? I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you're trying this for the first time, it might be a little difficult. It takes time, but to practice these, it's really fun to do this method, especially if you're doing it with watercolors. And I'm using an A4 size paper here. Here I'm too lazy to switch into the small brush, which I should have. I use a small, really small brush, a fine tip brush for the eyes and these portions. You all please use a fine tip brush, a small brush, when you are doing the details of the eyes. You can even skip it for later. You can even use your color pencils to just give the outlines, or even for the eyeballs. So these portions, it has to be completely dried, your painting, and then you have to do this. So here my painting is almost completely dried except the background. So this is the dark brown. It is not going to be black. It is looking like a black, but I've taken more of the dark brown here, and just giving a neat outline. I recommend y'all to use a pointy brush over here, and not to take excess water in your brush, because when you're giving these outlines, your brush should contain minimum amount of water. For more such drawing, and painting videos, please do consider hitting this like and subscribe button. Now, what I'm trying to do is here, I'm trying to lift the paint over here because even the tusk has become yellow. So here, let me use a tissue and I'll just make it wet, those portions, and I'll just lift the paint here. Now, once again, I've made it completely dark. As you can see, those layers just turned very light here. So this is how it looks. I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you for watching.